Welcome everyone to the 13th edition of the Lawn Care Skull Sessions with Ben and BJ. BJ, how are ya?
What's happening, brother?
A little bit of everything. We got our Christmas episode.
Yeah.
We're not going to be talking a lot about Christmas, but we do have our cute little hats on.
Sparkling.
I don't think we're going to be wearing these for too long because it's really hot in here.
It's so hot.
And you don't want to see us sweating up.
No.
So, BJ, what are we talking about today, pal?
Ads, marketing, and networking today.
This is going to be good stuff, right?
Good stuff.
We have touched on, bits and pieces of this.
Yeah.
You can go back through the archives and check out. I think it was like our startup episode, like the startup a lawn mowing business. There is, we'll piggyback off some of that.
Yep.
Try and be a little bit more specific in this episode.
Yeah, we'll dive a little bit deeper into some of the things we got into on that.
Yep. Before we get into our topic, we got any shout outs?
Definitely. We always have shout outs.
Hit it up then.
So we got Nick Lang, who he messaged me, and he's a listener. Just a shout out to you, dude. Let me know where you are. If you want to ride on me V-Ride, you're more than welcome to give me a call and we'll try and hook you up.
Wait. Was this just a cheap skag plug or is this a podcast?
No, he said he loves the podcast. So,
okay, no, that's
but he
cool.
wants to get a V-Ride, and he asked me where his local dealer is, and then he said
that's
he wants
cool,
to
man.
ride on one. So, mate, I'm always up for someone riding on my gear.
Are we still talking about the mower?
Oh my god, it started already.
You want to hit up this one while?
Yeah, dude.
So,
another one.
Mate, the Sheilas love us.
It must be my cute fate.
No disrespect to any ladies out there.
Nah.
We don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
Nah, and
But
if we
thank you
do,
for
let
loving
us
us.
know. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Don't tell my wife.
Adam Sunjol. This is the second review, I'm pretty sure.
Is her name Adam?
No, maybe it's Jolene or something. Maybe I'm not sure.
Anyway,
I'm the wife of a lawnie. Only doing the books and podcasts is a great insight into the industry. The knowledge, the banter, and mateship you guys put out each Monday serves the community well.
Aww.
And that's what we want to hear.
that's what we definitely want to hear. So, something quickly, if you don't mind if I jump in.
Jump in.
That was a review that was left on the Apple podcast platform, but something new that Gary Ashton dropped. Well, this is how I learnt about it.
Yeah.
We can now have reviews on Spotify.
Yay!
And I think that lots of people listen through Spotify.
I listen on Spotify.
I believe 50% of our listeners are on Spotify.
Yeah.
So we expect you fuckers to leave us a review.
Please leave us a review.
And also, not only just a review, feel free to reach out to us direct about topics.
Yep.
I have a shout out for Thomas Hegarty. He contacted me and just wanted to say good work. Loves listening to the show. He also gave me some suggestions. It was actually about doing up like secondhand equipment. Now there is two sides to that theory, and he wants to hear more about it. So we might touch on some of that stuff because whilst I think it's still smart to buy brand new stuff, there's tons of stuff that can be salvaged out there, especially commercial gear. So thank you for that, Thomas. We might touch on that later.
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta ditch this, bro.
I'm cooking, man.
Man.
Can I ditch mine as well?
And
I've got another one.
I'm not a sweater either.
Nah, I am. It's my wage, Nathan Gould's another one. He's reached out to me privately, and he's a good bloke who listens as well. And thank you very much. I have something to share. So, my good friends at Skag Australia have listened, and they have come back to me, and they have announced that Skag Australia now has a merchandise store. So if you jump onto skagaustralia.com.au, the store icon's there, and you can go and get Skag shirts like these. There's
What other cool stuff can we get?
Yeti drink bottles and coolers, none of that cheap shit. We got fucking top of the range.
That's like 2 liters, 1.5?
Yes, it's 1.5 litres. This thing keeps this shit cold. Like, I've got a little bit of ice in here and water, and I'll come back to it tomorrow and it'll still be nice and chilly.
Boy, you're
fucking
so
awesome.
cold, the sun can't melt you.
They got coffee cups. I didn't know they were bringing out coffee cups until I went on the website.
I'm probably going to grab myself a coffee cup, to be honest.
It's nearly 600 mils, so I can fit 2 coffees in there. You'll love that. You're a lover of coffee. But no, they got all the models, and just there's going to be more stuff as the season go on. Everybody's already said like there's people want beanies. There's 3 different types of hats. Yeah, it's awesome. Coolers, fucking everything.
It's good to see that we're getting some stuff here because apart from what John Deere and Still, you really couldn't get a lot of merch, or apart from say promo gear.
Yeah.
And the promo gear, this isn't promo gear, right? Like,
No,
you
this
look at
isn't
that
promo
hat,
gear.
you don't get that shit for free.
This hat's not on there yet.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
I'm
but
sure
no, there
it
was.
was. Are you sure it's not one that's very
No,
similar?
there's one that's very similar.
Yeah, okay,
So,
cool.
yeah, there's 2 different types of hats on there. There's a black one and a red and white one, so...
I saw one on there. I was going to buy. I'm not much of a hat guy. My head's really small.
Could have bought it for me for Christmas.
Soz. Okay, cool. Any other housekeeping bits and pieces?
That's about it, man.
All right.
I think we can get on with it.
Yeah, let's jump straight into this episode. So we're going to be talking about advertising and marketing. We've just thrown networking in there just because based on our own experiences, the networking has probably been more important
Yeah.
than any other form of advertising or marketing.
More important than anything I've done. Like,
Now, what is different and what I'm learning with, say, Greenscape Solutions compared to Catch Pro is it's literally all advertising and marketing.
Yep.
Obviously, you can network, and I do a shitload of networking as well, but you really need eyeballs to see the product, whereas in the lawn mowing and gardening industry, you really only wanting to touch people within your area, and sometimes the advertising platforms are not necessarily the best way to go.
no, well, there's so many different avenues you can take with advertising. Networking is a little bit harder. I think networking kind of comes as you progress in business and you start to, not focus on getting whatever you can into your business. I'm talking about like newbies, but
Yeah, I mean, look, the networking element, it probably depends on where you want to go long term.
Yeah.
If you want to be a residential mower man or girl, and you don't have aspirations to have employees, and you don't want to have like a big thing that you manage,
yeah,
the networking is nowhere near as important. And by the way, we're not tripping on that either. Like we totally understand that as much business opportunities that you can create in this industry, sometimes it's just an awesome gig for like
It's
a
about
50-year-old or a 40, like whoever it was. They might have been in a government job for 20 or 30 years, and they just want to do something for themselves. So we're not tripping on any of that. And if you're one of those people out there, we still have some great content that you might be able to pick something up on.
It's all about just lifestyle for some people.
Absolutely. So if we want to probably just have a look at a startup. Now, we did touch on some of the startup stuff in the startup episode, but if we're talking to someone that is looking to start up and they physically ask the question, what's the best way to advertise? What are some of your tips and tricks, pal?
For me, so my startup was a lot more recent than yours, and I was lucky enough to be in the era of social media. So I don't even think you would have had a colour phone when you started, but
no, they were, I believe, camera phones. Maybe the first camera phones were coming out back then.
Yeah, that's a while ago. But I was lucky enough to have Facebook and. Not so much Facebook Marketplace because that wasn't a thing when I started, but Facebook groups. And I was lucky enough that my wife was pretty cluey when it came to those sort of things, and she was in all these mums groups that were local groups.
And you would just hide in the shadows in the mums groups, just looking for all the single mums?
My wife was hiding in there looking for all the lawns that needed to be mowed. And I fucking cleaned up. So it was a good place to start up. I basically finished work and started work. Like, I finished on the 24th of December, and like after New Year's, I got stuck straight into it because I already had people. You know, it was summertime, and that might be another thing that we should have mentioned in the startup about what time in the year you should start. But it was summertime.
I mean, look,
when
it
I
does.
started.
Yeah, it's starting in the summertime would be the best.
Yeah. Especially around Christmas.
But in terms of advertising and stuff like, I know we're talking specifically about a startup like now. We should probably touch on that. Like, lots and lots of contractors will not do any advertising in the summertime due to being overwhelmed.
I can't now. Like, there's no way. I'm turning so much work away.
Yeah.
Because everybody panics before Christmas, and I've seen guys that are turning away like 7-8 customers a day because they just can't handle the volume.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll continue on this track.
Facebook is a great place to start. That's any of the groups now. There's local groups that you can start on. Just there's so many avenues you can throw your name out on Facebook. You can set up alerts, so when someone mentions a certain thing on Facebook, you'll get an alert.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Now, is it pretty competitive? It's not really...
It's so competitive.
Okay, yep.
So competitive from your guys that'll do it cheaper to like your professionals. There's everything.
It's a mixed bag of what's on there.
It's a full mixed bag, and you can always tell. Like, there'll be one guy that's like, oh, you know, someone will say, oh, I need my, you know, a regular service, and someone will be like, oh, hi, my name's Brenton. I'm from TBL Property Maintenance. I would love the opportunity to come out and give you a free quote.
Oh, that's so nice.
And then you'd get like, I'm Joe.
Give it here, eh?
Yeah, I'll do it for $20.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fucking gross. But
we all got to make a buck, BJ.
Yeah, but that's when someone's offering you a fortnightly gig, you're like, oh, I want that. Especially when you're first starting out, and you're like, that's where the Cowboys kind of got to me. I know there's a place for everyone in this industry, but that's where the Cowboys kind of pissed me off a bit when I was trying to be professional, and you know, people that come in and undercut you. I
mean, eventually it works itself out, right?
It does.
I mean, look, some people might stick around with those Cowboys, but you know, eventually, you know, if it's not, you know, if someone's not reliable, someone's not doing a good enough job, whatever, they eventually they'll come around. They'll come to you.
And the funniest thing, when you are in these Facebook groups, you'll see customers. If you've been on it for a while, you'll see customers that you've dumped that just rotate through, and they're always looking for a new mower, man, because their yard's covered in dog shit. They don't pay, or they're just not nice people.
Yep.
So
now, something that I want to chime in. I don't have any personal experience advertising Greenscape solutions in Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Like BJ mentioned before, it wasn't around in my day, and by the time Facebook came around, Greenscape Solutions was well and truly established, and we just never needed that. But one thing I do want to highlight is that you are exposing yourself on a really broad platform. And what I mean by that is that if you do a shit job, or you have a bad interaction with someone or whatever, you can be outed really quick. Now, there's an old, you know, saying about, you know, when you're driving around and you've got your phone number and everything plastered all over your trailer, and then, you know, people can contact you. They can, you know, they can name and shame you really easily.
Yeah.
It's really harsh on Facebook because they can just, you know, like, they can expose you.
Big time.
Now, if you're a decent operator, that shouldn't happen.
No, you got enough.
But, you know, hey, sometimes the stories get twisted. I mean,
there's always assholes out there that are just out to...
yeah, and it happens with us with Catch Pro. Someone, you know, might not know how to fit up their catcher. Next thing, they put it on social media like, oh, that dickhead from Brisbane sent me the wrong bracket. And you're like, whoa.
You got it on backwards, bro.
Yeah, so, look, just something to note. Yeah. So apart from the Facebook groups, what about like high pages and stuff? Now, I did mess with it a little bit when I was trying to do some targeting work. I know that there is lots and lots and lots of contractors that have had great success and picked up some awesome jobs. It's just another avenue. Like, I think for startups, it would be wise, depending on how competent you are, to hit every platform.
Yeah.
And take just see what comes in, see what you can handle. From everything from Gumtree ads, Facebook, high pages.
You had a bit of success with Gumtree, didn't you?
I put out a local Gumtree ad, and I was very specific. I didn't want any residential clients at the time. I only put the Gumtree ad out for Acreage, mowing, business, commercial, body corp.
Yep.
Now the body corp scene, you're probably not going to pick up a lot.
Yeah.
There might be some body corporate managers and strata managers that might check that platform if they're really struggling.
Yep.
But I did pick up a local factory only 5 minutes from where I live. And it wasn't a paid Gumtree ad. And I tell you what, that one job, I mean, I've probably had it for 6 or 7 years. It's a $400 job every fortnight, and it takes me 1 hour.
That's a good one.
That's one of my better paying jobs.
That's a good one.
But literally, like, it's just a huge, big industrial place. That's just a ride-on mow, no snipping. Just a ride-on mow and poison.
Yeah, nice.
And managed to get it. Even looking back now, like, I feel bad sometimes. Well, I don't really, because no one's physically paying for it. It's a business. But that was great. That Gumtree ad worked out great for me. I did pick up some Acreage clients that, ended up only being short term, not doing any of that stuff now, but still awesome opportunities.
Yeah. No, that's good.
So what about the Gyms Plus? Now,
I haven't had any experience with Gyms Plus.
I sort of dabbled a little.
Yeah.
And I could see that there was going to be some potential.
Yep.
But at the time, I only wanted to do it to be super specific. Like, I only wanted to pick up, it was like right when we just bought all our stand-ons.
Yeah.
So I only wanted ride-on mowing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well.
I literally was not interested in anything else.
So on that, can you specify what you want to do?
I believe I couldn't be as specific as what I wanted to be. But in saying that, like, I know young Nanki, he's picked up like awesome contracts through Gyms Plus.
Okay.
And why they would never, like, you would think that they would, because it's the overflow that the franchisees can't handle.
Yeah.
Why that anyone would ever knock back something like that when they're paying, franchise fees. But Gyms Plus is definitely something to look into.
Yeah. There are costs involved though with that one.
There's costs involved. I think sometimes, I know this more than anything now, but you do have to spend it to make it.
Yep.
It just depends. It really just depends on how much you want to make.
Yep. So there's like Gyms Plus, and then you can weigh that up against the letterbox drop.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because you and I both have done the old school letterbox drop.
Yeah.
And what's fantastic about it is that you can target exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
So you can hit
suburbs.
You can hit neighborhoods, you can hit streets, you can skip the crack houses, you can bloody you know what I mean? Like, you can look at ones and be like, trampoline, hell nah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can hit everything like that.
To be honest, if I was going to do letterbox dropping again, I would more than likely employ someone to do it and just give them suburbs with my desired targets in, and then just read out what I want.
See, I'm in two minds about that, pal.
Just the time. I just don't have. I would not have the time right now.
But, like, if you were
were
considering letterbox drops, you would have time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you've made that decision, like, holy shit, I need to get off my ass.
Yeah.
You're at the point now where, like, you ain't taking nothing unless it's a gold mine.
That's it. Yeah. Unless it's paying more than something I've already got.
Now, quickly, this is a sidebar. Quickly inform our audience, like, the two contracts that you've just quoted. Now, I know they haven't worked out.
Yeah.
But this is something through basically networking,
It's all
right?
networking.
So
cool. So a couple of weeks back, I was contacted about a school, and I got straight onto it because I'd love to do a school. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. That came through a friend of a customer. So even that is considered networking. So
that's straight up networking.
That would be a good lead. I've talked to them. They said we'll keep you in mind for the next holidays, and I said, oh, you just wanted me for the holidays. I'm not really keen on that. Because,
but the thing about that is that
I mean, I could
even though that didn't work out.
Yeah.
You never know what could happen. They know that you are not interested in a holiday job.
Yeah.
You're interested in taking over the full management.
Exactly.
And if something ever happens with their current contractor, you're probably going to be one of the first in their mind.
Oh, I hope so.
But
yeah, so that was a bit of a disappointing one. But the second one was something that I thought was was really hot. And I went in there and I was like, fucking here I am. I'm ready to do this shit. And I went through this place, beautiful village, 180 units, all the front yards, all the common areas.
Was it like 20 acres?
It's 20-acre village. It's a big village. So local, yeah, like 10 minutes down the road. So I went away, doing all my quoting, and I came up with a price. I was ready to send it. I just thought they were a bit cagey when I was talking to them. They were a bit weird, and they were like trying to sweeten the deal by telling me that they know this person, so like they'll pass my details on. And I was like, fuck, that's weird. So I called them, and I was like just saying, kind of giving them leading questions like, what facilities do you have for us? Do you have toilets on site that we can use, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, so I can do a better price if we can lock into a 2-year contract. And they're like, contract? I was like, yeah, contract. And they're like, look, to be honest, we don't actually want you on a long-term basis. I was like, oh, okay, so what kind of basis do you want me on? And they wanted me for 2 weeks. And I was like, you were willing to let me hire 2 extra staff, buy enough equipment to service your village, and you were going to keep me here for fucking 2 weeks. And I was like, see you later.
Yeah, but then again, even though that is a lost opportunity in terms of something that you can't control, but at least it's like, because I know that there's a high turnover at that place. When that dude flunks it, at least you're in.
They told me about 2 other contractors that were there previous, and I was just like, yep, well, whatever. It's different to all the contracts that I've got and have had in the past. It's actually they're managers, so that I'm not dealing with a committee.
Yeah, that's tough when someone buys the managerial rights to a village or a complex. That's what's tough, is that it's their income.
Yeah.
It's not, like, I know the residents still pay for it. It's still a body corp cost, but it's really their wage.
Yeah.
And they're, essentially forfeiting X amount to sub out their actual job description.
Yeah.
But you can still get some awesome, like, I've done deals in the past where we've had, some pretty awesome contracts.
And that was the biggest village I've quoted. And what I took away from it was the experience, because I went through it, did all my, my numbers in my head, so I know next time I have something like that come up, because there will be a next time, because that's what I'm targeting, then I'm a bit more confident in throwing my numbers around. So,
yep.
But yeah, that was through networking as well.
That's just a quick little sidebar. Like we're probably going to get a little bit more into networking shortly. If we can circle back to the letterbox drops.
Yep.
I think whether you're a startup, whether you're established, it's one of those old school ways that you can specifically target a certain market or avenue, whatever it is, and still get some success out of it for free, essentially. Like if you got a flyer or a card, I know you have to spend some time, But, one thing that I know, let's say for route density.
Yeah.
Are we saying route or route density?
Route density.
I say route density.
Yeah, route density is fine.
Oh, man, I'm all fucked up when it comes to the English language. But anyway, route density. If everyone's trying to tighten that up, here I go again. It's the oldest trick in the book. You mow a lawn and you hit every house in that street, hoping to collect more. And I know someone that lots of listeners might recognise, Greg Anderson, down in Sydney. I know he has a street where it's a cul-de-sac or something like that, and he does like 12 properties.
Yeah,
he does a whole day and makes he scrapes up there.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic business opportunity.
Yeah, so I used to have one down the road with 9. So you came and saw me in that one a few times.
Yeah. So letterbox drops is still super productive.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at if you are placing an ad, your actual content that you're advertising. Yeah. Obviously, you've got your business name. Now, even though sometimes you want to target a specific specialized market, say you only want ride-on mowing. Now, we've talked about this before, that you do want to emphasize that you specialize in something.
Yeah.
Whether it's pruning roses, whether it's hand weeding, like who the fuck would do that, right? But let's just say it. If you can say that you specialize in something, however, you still want to say, but we service, and you still want to list every service, I think. Because if you've got, weeding, hedging, mowing, spraying, all of these different things, it at least draws eyeballs. Exactly. And it's not really going to cost you anything except for your own time, which if you're advertising, you've got time.
Yeah.
If you don't have any time, chances are you're probably not advertising. So I still think list every service, but just have something that you want to specialize in. And it could be more than one thing. I mean, hey, it could be hedging and ride-on mowing.
Yeah.
We specialize in this, we specialize in that. But there's nothing worse than when you're looking through ads and you see, let's say I wanted to get someone to mow here, but I wanted them to trim the hedges as well.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah.
If you state that in your ad, you're less likely to get potential clients.
Yeah.
So that's something that, I think is pretty important.
Yeah, 100%. My problem was trying to figure out what not to put on my ads because it just got too bulked up. So I had to break it down a little bit. And I put instead of weeding, I'd put weed management and
that's really clever.
It was my list was growing and growing.
For me, it's trees.
Is it?
Yeah, man, I'm sick of it now.
I don't mind pruning trees.
Pruning's cool, but lopping trees.
Oh yeah.
Because we're only. Well, I'm insured up to 6 meters now, which is I ain't touching anything over 3.
Yeah.
But we're just not properly equipped to sit there and, we can drop trees.
Yeah.
But fuck me, chopping it up, putting it in the trailer and taking it to the dump, I'm over that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I sit on my mower for a couple of,
Dude, that's it, yeah.
So, still be, if there's something that, if you are straight up I ain't hand weeding nothing, then do BJ's little trickstar and weed management, spraying it, doing this. We're probably going to do a chemical episode one day. I had someone reach out. I mean, there is so much we can talk about, from pre-emergence and, all sorts of stuff. BJ and I both don't have chemical tickets, but we do have a fair bit of experience. Yeah. That was just a quick little sidebar. Yeah. Apologise for that. All right, man. So if you're targeting villages, right? Because people listen to our podcast, they hear us talk about villages.
Yeah.
Some people might want to get amongst it. What's some of the better ways to target? Because I know for me, straight up cold calls.
Yeah, cold calling.
Walking in.
Yeah, so a lot of villages...
To get on the radar.
Yeah, that's it. So if you get an email, then that's awesome. If you can because if I'm looking to target something, I'll Google it and I'll try and find out everything I can about a certain place. I'll Google Earth it so I can check it out. I'll be like, yeah, that's cool. That's not. So if you can get an email, that's awesome. That, saves you time and going out and seeing someone. You can email them and send your inquiry and just say, look, these are the services I offer. This is what I specialise in. I now say that I specialise in large village maintenance, basically, body corp maintenance. I think cold calling and basically Googling someone, finding out everything you can, is probably the best way for those big places.
Yep. Now, I'll tell you, so I agree.
And networking.
Yeah,
networking.
So they're probably the two biggest, no one would truly understand how many hours, I used to sit in my office and I used to just look and I broke it all down. I would have all the villages in East Brisbane, I'd have all in the south and down your way in the Redlands, and I would just have these lists. And I know that when you go through, so there's a certain amount of these villages will have in-house gardeners that work for wages, so you can immediately fuck them off. Then you have a look at the ones that are subcontracted, and 50% of them at the time were subbed to Landscape Solutions. Or is that what they're called? Yeah, Landscape Solutions.
Landscape Solutions.
So
Skyline.
Yeah. So, I basically, went through and sorted them all like that. And one of the biggest things that I learned was if you have a website, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy, it was something great where you could say, feel free to check out my website. Because a lot of the time you're maybe talking to a secretary. Other than that, you will get a manager. But if they're already in a contract, it's not one of their most important business dealings. Most of them are looking after oldies or, they're organising something, whatever. But I found if I had a website, I was able to direct traffic to something. Because remember that I didn't have any other villages. Yeah. So sometimes I'll say, okay, do you look after any places similar? Now I can say yes. Yeah. But back then I couldn't say anything. Yeah. And if you direct them to a website, you can have images of whatever work you've done, and you can make it look bigger or whatever.
Better. Yeah.
So look, having a website then leads to all your different Google ads.
Yeah.
So even if you Google gardening contracts, straight away you'll see Green Options, Landscape Solutions, Skyline, their Google ads, and whatever it is that they pay for, it gets them on literally anything that is in the same category as contract, gardening, whatever it is, they're all over it.
Programmed is another big one.
Programmed, yeah. So you really, that's who you're then competing with.
Yeah.
And so, I think we never did the Google Ads thing. The website was strictly, and my wife and I built the website. I'm pretty sure it's gone now. We don't need it now. Yeah. But it was definitely something there. If I went into a village, I could give them a card with the website link.
Yep.
And it makes you look more established than what you really are.
I don't have one.
But that's okay.
I don't know why I haven't. I have 1,000 times said to my wife, who was also the brains of my operation, and said, we really need to get a website. And I just don't think it's ever been something that we've followed through with because we've always had so much work. And I think we got to a point where the networking took over our advertising.
Well, that's true. Same with me. But at the same time, if you did have a website, you can plaster all over there, proudly been maintaining Carindale Village for wherever, and you can have all that shit listed.
Yeah,
I know for us, if we were able to have Greenleaf's retirement village. That's the retirement village we look after, with some testimonials there. Any village manager or whatever that was potentially looking for someone, they would be able to see that and they'd be able to go, this is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
So whilst it's not essential for everyday contractors, if you're looking at villages or schools, like imagine school campuses.
Yeah.
Anyone that's looking after a school campus or wants to look at it, if you have a website, and you can show a field or whatever. Obviously, you got to be competent.
You know what?
Right?
That's why I like this show, because I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you talk. I'm thinking, fuck, I need a website. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like going over in my brain. I'm like, fuck, how many opportunities have I missed out on because I haven't got a website to refer back to?
Well, I mean, look, we're all learning as we go.
Yeah.
And it's. Yeah, I mean, look, if you had a website, it'd be excellent.
Yeah.
You can plug all your little things. You can plug the podcast. You can plug, everything.
Yeah.
So, it's the same thing with Catch Pro.
Yeah.
You've got Catch Pro, then you can plug the YouTube, you can plug the podcast, you can plug Skag, you can all of these little things. That's networking.
You're like an Australia-wide, like I'm just targeting Southeast Queensland. You're going for the whole fucking kit and caboodle.
Going for the whole fucking world.
Yeah, if I can get it, eh?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about networking. When you're talking about networking, obviously, you want to be sort of like, so let's say you're trying to pick up some stratas.
Yep.
Probably having like a LinkedIn profile, and you can just type in like strata or whatever.
Really?
And yeah, so then like, as long as they have LinkedIn profiles.
I've got one, I just don't really use it.
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't, I do feel like LinkedIn is just a place to just get spammed.
Yeah. That's what I found, so I just kind of...
But I've had some amazing opportunities come up. My original profile, I believe, was a Greenscapes profile.
Oh, okay.
And so I had lots of golf course superintendents and like...
Yeah, nice.
So many people that were friending me.
Yep.
And then eventually, when we got Catch Pro up and running, that's how I eventually got, and none of this eventuated, but, well, the New Zealand deal did.
Yep.
Catch Pro into New Zealand with OMC Power Equipment,
cool.
The Bobcat and Skag distributor. A division, the South African division of Briggs and Stratton, they wanted the Catch Pros.
Jeez.
And that was never going to work.
Yeah.
But and then also, it wasn't Jake, but it was someone from Skag America.
Okay.
First reached out. That was when we were like brand new.
Yeah.
And so LinkedIn, whether it's been Catch Pro or Greenscape Solutions, LinkedIn has been a great source for networking.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's not the same as Facebook in the sense that Facebook, you're hitting the end consumer.
Yeah.
With LinkedIn, you're hitting the business people.
Yeah. I feel like...
people that are managing, you can target the company that's managing like the Port of Brisbane, for example. Things like that.
Well, I'll just write that down, eh?
Yeah. No, well, we actually know the guy that has the contract, so that would be kind of and I think he listens too.
Oh, okay.
And they're Catch Pro customers.
Do a good job.
We better not dog him.
I do one of your footpaths for you.
Or if you want, I can just give you his number
I'll just
as a networking tool. Say, mate, if you ever get crooked, hit by a car.
Yeah. I can sort you out, mate.
Actually, I've got a quick sidebar.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Carly Waller. She's having a baby.
Hey, congratulations.
I don't think she listens, or at least she doesn't comment.
Oh, I hope so. She was one of the first people we were going to get on, but then I became the producer and I don't know how to do Zoom.
Sorry, that was a quick sidebar, but she's been...
Congratulations.
She's been an awesome Catch Pro customer from day one. And when I saw that last night, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. So congratulations, Carly. Okay, so when we are talking about acreage mowing, now this doesn't apply everywhere. What do you reckon is the best way to pick up acreage mowing clients?
I think acreage comes back to targeted marketing.
Yep.
Maybe on your Gumtree and
Gumtree letterbox drop?
yeah, letterbox drops is probably the easiest and quickest way to get it out there, because you can, might have one street with 6 acreages on it.
Yeah.
And you can just knock them all off real quick.
And did you ever have much success with acreage mowing in Facebook? With Facebook?
I did actually. I had a few.
That's good.
I had a few
That's good for people to know.
that stayed and a few that left. So the couple that stayed became really good customers. The few that...
But it's all about creating the initial opportunity. So,
and you just need to be in the area too, because like you said on one of our previous episodes, you've got one and someone new moved across the road and they got you to come across, even though it didn't work out to be like a continuous job.
he was a fuckhead.
But
I could have...
Yeah.
If we weren't blowing up big time right now with Catch Pro, I would have taken that job.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was just being stubborn because... I'm just not prepared to cut grass at the moment unless it's going to be a super awesome opportunity.
Well, you even offered it to me and I was like, fuck, I can't do it.
Yeah, so, and what I was asking for was
no.
Well, we could have worked it out.
Yeah.
I just got over it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't be fucked texting someone.
Yeah, you were under the pump at that time.
Yeah, so, no, that's really good.
But yeah, I think acreage is probably... like letterbox dropping is a good one because there's not that many houses on a street. You can target your suburbs. Also on Facebook, even if you don't live in the suburb, so we've got a suburb, it's Gumdale. So we've got the suburb just down the road.
I think they call it Chandler now.
Oh, Chandler. Okay, so Chandler. So they have, what would you say, like 70% acreage?
Yeah, more.
You reckon?
It's pretty much all that.
So that's just like 15 minutes down the road. It's just on the outskirts of Brizzy. So that's an awesome place just to letterbox drop the shit out of that place. Burbank's another one. And they're side-by-side suburbs. So that's what I was talking about, employing someone to do the letterbox drop. You can actually just get someone to do it. But
there's people that specialise in it.
Yeah, but they probably wouldn't actually put it in, when it says no junk mail, please. I'm like, no, I'm not fucking junk. Take that.
Yeah, I know. That's like...
This isn't junk mail. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember I've been in that situation where you see like the no junk and you're like, my business isn't junk.
Yeah.
And you get like, and you're like, yeah. So
do you get like these ones like, oh, is this going to go
that's when
well?
you double drop them, eh? It's like, here's one for you and here's one for your wife.
Didn't you fucking drop a bunch of cards on someone's driveway?
I did that. It didn't work. There's like this. So this is another quick sidebar. It's like...
It's advertising.
It is like the most magnificent property.
Yeah.
And I've been hitting it for a couple of years, right? And I knew it had just sold. And like every time, like they got cameras and everything. And I just wanted to get on their radar in some way. And like hit it, and then like I had a bunch of cards, and I full disc did a shrapnel attack, just like I just dropped all my cards just on the driveway, and it was funny because there's no way that someone could have come home and not recognised the amount of cards. Now I'm not saying that this is a great business tactic, probably don't do it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get recognised any way I could. Anyway, I did fail.
Yeah, well, that's alright.
But even if someone was like, oh, even if they send you a text like, oh, I noticed you littered like 20 business cards on my driveway. It could be like, man, I was walking past, I got stung by a bee.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So sorry. Can I
I got attacked by a bee.
Do you mind if I quote your place?
Yeah. Do you mind if I'll give you a really good price because, I don't like to litter, but that bee really did terrify me.
And that's always been my philosophy is, you just got to get noticed. You just got to get on the radar, because if you're not in it, you can't win it.
That's it.
So we've had a look at some avenues for advertising. Let's just quickly go over them. Just to recap. So we have, hitting every platform from Facebook, Gumtree, High Pages, Gyms Plus. We have all of those avenues.
Yep.
If you're a little bit more old school, you can do the letterbox drop and cold calling.
Yeah.
Now the cold calling is specific to business.
Yeah. Very much.
You're not just going to go. You're not just going to go through the phone book and start calling people's houses.
The commercial one too. Another thing. It's not advertising so much as chasing. So when I first started, I wanted some commercial work because that's what I love to do. So I actually looked up commercial real estates in my area.
Perfect.
So just fucking Google is your best friend. When you have an idea and you're like, oh, I want to look at commercial mowing or commercial properties or whatever, just Google it. And commercial real estates exist in every single town and every single major city. Like, just get onto it. They're good avenues, and they can take your number, and if they've got something, maybe they'll give it to you. But lots of these places would have long-term contractors. But you never know.
So I'll tell you one thing that I was never successful with. Like these days, you know how you have industrial hubs, so like the Metroplex and Murray. So they call them business parks.
Oh.
And so it'll just be like almost like a mini suburb of just different factories and businesses, warehouses. But then they have like they'll put a kindy there. So like all the people that go to work, they can, bung their kid here in kindy. They have, different restaurants. So they're actually called like business parks.
Yep.
Now, not only do all of the separate businesses employ someone to look after their gardens, it's a pretty tight knit. It's not like if you got like 100 buildings, there's not 100 different contractors.
No.
So a lot of the guys, but then everyone also, it's exactly the same as Body Corp. They all pay a body corp fee in all the common areas, like your traffic islands, your roundabouts, your nature strips. So
so
I
that's
know that
new to me.
Well, that was where I was going before Catch Pro.
Okay.
I was, I'd spend hours, looking at these business parks. Some of them are humongous.
Yeah.
Like 100 acres, humongous.
Fuck.
And so. That was just, one quick thing that, just talking about the business and commercial sector. When you go into a neighborhood or an industrial hub, don't limit yourself to what. Now, if you're a solo operator, you might want to,
Yeah.
But if you've got a couple of dudes, and you're looking to grow and you're looking to hire more staff, a business park would be better than a retirement village.
Yeah.
Only in the sense that I love retirement villages because, and this might make me sound a little weird, but it's a safe, friendly environment to work in. You don't have to worry about smackheads and criminals and you know what I mean? So it's like a very friendly, not very arousing. Unless you have like hot managers and stuff.
Yeah. See, I don't work in retirement. I work in just villages.
Residential village. So you got some good ones, eh?
But
but in a business environment, you're working with adults, successful people, more or less. Pretty cool crowd, but a little bit more of like you would. I reckon you would see a lot of fuckheads too.
Yeah, dude. I was hedging and I looked behind me and there's a cop car creeping up on me yesterday. I was like, what the fuck? And then I looked over to these new tenants. So they've got a trailer parked on the common property. Their windows are all smashed in. I'm like, fuck. And this village is quiet. Like, I worked there for nearly 4 years and there's been like 2 break-ins and some little shit started a fire. That's it. But now they've let some shit in. But man, I that's another cool thing. I've never really had a look into those business parks, so that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, business park, and they're going in everywhere.
Yeah. The one that I do out at the Port of Brisbane, there's something massive going in across the road, and they've got all the listings of, it must be a business park as well, because they've got all the listings for all of the buildings just on one sign now. So it's like lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So just quickly, should we touch on like vehicle and trailer signage Obviously, that's a great form of advertising.
Yeah. One that I've never had to do it.
No, so look, neither have I. I've probably I would have had stages in my business, certainly, where I should have done it.
Yeah, me too.
I couldn't do it financially back then.
Yep.
I don't do it with Catch Pro now. Right before I started Catch Pro, we were getting ready to do all the rigs.
Yep.
And I think, look, you don't necessarily need it, but I mean, we hear stories all the time. People in traffic and, they've pulled up at a job and, someone has seen them or recognized them. And I think it's fabulous.
Yeah.
So vehicle and trailer signage is excellent.
Yeah.
If you're looking to expand.
Yeah.
Or even to just get noticed.
I get noticed just with my trailer. I was like, look the fucking size of that.
Yeah. So
it's either my trailer or my stander.
Yeah.
I'll come out and they'll be like, whoa, look at the size of that, and then they'll see my stander and be like, what the fuck, look at the size of that.
And do you think it's something that you're going to look at to get all that signed up? Just don't need it?
I just don't need it, eh?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I really don't need it at this point in time. Like, I think maybe I will look into the website thing, because that's a really good point you brought up. But yeah, I really don't need it.
I might see if my website is still there.
Can I just change it? Change it to...
No, you can't. No, I was just trying to think. A lot of the content, I mean, essentially what we did was we just had a look at a bunch of other websites, and they weren't independent gardening. Like they were maybe a Green Options or whatever website.
Yeah.
We just copied and pasted certain bits.
Okay.
And then put our own little spin on it.
Yep.
We uploaded images of our own work. That's one thing, guys and girls. Don't mess with other people's images.
Yeah. Or
only
stock
because
photos.
Huh?
Stock photos.
No. Yeah, take photos of your own shit. It will make you feel so much better anyway.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be a glamorous property on a bloody waterfront, or it doesn't need to have, every single flower in the world. It just needs to be a nice presentation of some grass or a garden or a hedge.
I've seen a fair few people have their photos snatched and used on different websites. And
I don't understand why people would ever do it.
It just seems... And
it's just lazy.
Yeah, and some of them were legit contractors. Like, they had proper businesses and they were like, oh...
That's what I mean. It's just lazy.
It's pretty poor.
And there's nothing worse than trying to take credit for something that's not yours.
That's it,
I don't know. For me, I just wouldn't feel satisfied. Like, I would just feel it'd just be way more satisfying to have your own website with your own work.
Yeah, it's like a point of pride.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're all cut from a different leaf, But for me, that's how I'd feel about that. So, look, I think the last thing that we can really touch on, back to networking, but what about networking with contractors?
Fuck, how much do we do? I talk to 5 to 10 contractors a day, at least, like, personally, and that doesn't even count the when I throw a bloody post up and there's fucking 45 people commenting on it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, at your local tip when you're dumping all your waste.
That's one of the most when the season is pumping and there's solo operators out there, and you're a nice dude, you're having a chat, and you can offer up your card, even if you don't have any work to give. You can say, hey man, can I give you a card? And if you're struggling for work, give me a text and I'll see what I can do. 9 times out of 10, they'll do the same for you. And even if it doesn't, eventuate, you've still made that connection, and, fucking if it does, then that's good. Then you can build that sort of friendship, or, what would you call it? A camaraderie?
I mean, look, it's typical mateship. Like, it's something that, like, I know I see it over social media all the time. They're like, oh, this dickhead contractor or rah, rah, rah. But I think some of the better businesses, or say, some of the more successful people, are people that work with other contract. And I'm not talking about working with other contractors, but give them a wave, and you don't have to go out of your way to do anything. Like, say for example, I know, let's say a contractor breaks their leg.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying it's like, you go and do their work to be a nice person. You can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
But it just could be a situation where I know that I've, met contractors before, and the one thing that they hate in the world is hedge trimming.
Yeah.
And there's some complexes have no grass.
Yeah.
It's just like 4 hours of hedging. And that was something for me and my team.
Yeah.
We could go in there with a 2-man team and punch that out real quick.
Yeah. Well, it's the same on LMCA, for example. You'll see a lot of contractors that are like, hey guys, I'm being offered all this acreage work. Should I buy a ride-on, or should I find someone to do it for me?
Yeah, and you can just imagine how many times they're being PM'd, like, give it here.
Give it to me, I'll take it.
But same thing. So I think networking with contractors, not only are you building your own presence and, with everyone in the industry, but, you sort of... it might create other business opportunities down the line.
It's a bit of a safety net too, because if something happens to like me, for instance, I've got that massive, like the bread and butter, that big contract. If something happened to that, then I would be talking to you, asking you if you had anything fucking in the pipeline that I could jump into. I'd be asking all the other contractors that I know if they've got anything to throw my way, just till I can build back up. That's the safety net aspect of it.
Now, if you're not a people person, this can be a little bit challenging, right?
Dude.
And it doesn't mean you have to go to someone's house and have dinner. You don't have to do any of that stuff, but it's just to simply let it known to contractors in the area.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you are getting an excess overflow of work, it's essentially Gyms Plus, but without paying a fee, right?
That's it, yeah.
Now, if a contractor out there, if you're trying to network and they say, swing us X amount, and you say, no, fuck that. This is a free gig only. But, essentially this networking it's just a Gyms Plus without paying a fee.
That's it.
That contract, if they're not going to do the work...
No.
They ain't going to make shit anyway.
No, that's it.
But
the thing is too, like, you can pick people. Like, if I don't know, I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character. You can pick people by just the way that they approach you, or just the way you can. The amount of times I've said g'day to people and they're just looking at me like, what the fuck does this bearded thing want? I'm just like, to say g'day, mate.
I say g'day to everyone, eh?
I say g'day to everyone, and I think Will, my offsider, thinks I've got bipolar, because we'll be driving down the road. I'm like, hey, yeah, fuck you, fuck you.
I'm pretty
waves.
I'm pretty lazy. Like, sometimes it's just like just a one finger wave.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
that's all you need, man. Common courtaucy costs nothing.
Sometimes it's like, hey, throw one up for the boys, eh?
Yeah. My offsider said, I'm sorry for the listeners out there, but he taught me these ones. He goes, yeah, just throw your fist out like this, and if they don't throw anything back, you can just put the finger up. They'll see it in their side mirror. I was like, I love you, Will.
No, but look, networking with other contractors is really serious. Also, you can have a look at sub-trades, so like landscapers.
Yep. Tree loppers.
Even some council members.
Yep.
Now, I've never had any business opportunities from this, but I know that there's a contractor maybe down in Melbourne somewhere.
Urban Turf? He's got some council contracts, I think.
Yeah, no, this was just a contractor, just a solo operator at the time.
Okay.
Or maybe he's got one or two workers. Struck up a conversation with one of the local council workers, and when at some point when there was some sort of overflow of work, they just subbed him in, like he had machines. They just subbed him in.
Sweet.
For some ride-on work. So, networking, I believe, is one of the biggest, most rewarding terms of free advertising that you can possibly do.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I can't remember even if I had said this on last week's episode. Correct me. I haven't watched last week's episode yet, but like one example. I lived through it already.
It's true.
Now that you're Mr. Producer, I don't have to proof anything.
Yeah, I proof everything twice.
So, and just cut me off, all right? If I've already told this story,
No,
but
go for it.
Mean Green Mowers.
Yeah, you did tell her. Right?
You know, I just couldn't believe that their warehouse is located 5 minutes from where I'm at.
Yeah.
And now, initial conversations were slow. Still nothing might not eventuate, but they're looking at taking on the catch pro for the Mean Green line.
Fuck yeah.
How bloody good is that?
That's awesome.
It's just another reason why reaching out to everyone is really important.
Awesome.
So hopefully we've been able to shed some light on some forms of advertising.
Yeah, we should have just called this networking.
Yeah, I mean, look,
man, 100%.
It's a different world.
Totally agree with
It's
you.
a different world that we're living in now.
Yeah.
You know, before you would 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I would take out an ad in the local paper.
I was gonna say
now that's real advertising.
That's old school. That's old school.
And you would go through the local paper.
You pay per word.
Yeah, I can't remember, but and you would see all the local guys. And what was great about that was you could open it up and you could see where everyone was listed, and you could pay more to bump him down, or you can get a black and white ad, or you can add a green line around it to make it stick out more. Like all of those forms of advertising are dead.
Yeah.
And so that's where your social medias, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your Facebook.
Yeah. That's what we didn't really touch on is Instagram as well.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I don't use it, so I love Instagram, and I don't use it as like a marketing tool or anything like that. I use it to market myself, pretty much. Other contractors
as a sex symbol.
Yeah. That was the line that sold the episode for me. Mm-hmm. How I became the sex symbol of an industry. I'm going to have to do a calendar, I think.
I told my kids about that.
What? Me doing a calendar?
Yeah, because it's Christmas time, and they the little Christmas calendars, where you get the chocky and all that stuff. And, they're marking off the days and everything, and I had just said to my wife, people have put it out there for me and BJ to do a calendar. And I thought, fuck this, you could just be on every day.
Oh, I'd love it. Bit of an exhibitionist. So back in the day, we were trying to think of ways to raise money for Ella to buy a standing frame and things like that. And I was like, hey, why don't I do a calendar? I'm fucking 140 kilos, hairy as shit. Like, who's going to buy my calendar? But if there's anyone out there who wants a calendar, let me know, because I will do it. I don't give a fuck. I will do it.
All right. If you want to see, look, probably not me. I don't know. You're a calendar dude, but if anyone wants to see that,
if anyone's a photographer and they can airbrush out all my stretch marks and is willing to shave my back, fuck, jump on board. Reach out.
To BJ, not to me. No, no, that would be hilarious. We'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So, all right, now this is us for the year, right?
Yes.
So the next time, this episode is going to drop. I believe it'll be Boxing Day. So, and then the next time after that, mate, it'll be 2022.
I'm going to be fucking hard pressed to get this out on Saturday evening.
Yeah, so Christmas is I'm hosting the family Christmas party.
Oh yeah.
So thankfully I'm not going to be producing.
Yeah, I'm going to get bland. There might be a few typos. Might be a few.
Well, I'll tell you what would be good about this, right? Now, if everyone here is watching, it's Boxing Day, right? BJ's going to be on the piss. Maybe I've had a few drinks.
Yeah.
As soon as the episode drops, start dropping the comments, start reaching out to us, and maybe it'll be more amusing. I don't know.
It probably will be more amusing.
So that could be kind of cool.
Yeah. Hey, anyone that listens to, we normally record this on a Tuesday night around about we finish about 7 o'clock.
Okay, so we do finish about around 7 o'clock Brisbane time.
So we then jump over onto the LMCA Facebook page and we do a live. So we're only on there for about
from my profile.
From Benny's profile.
Yeah.
We're on there from whenever till whenever. As long as we got people
engaged
watching and asking questions, then we're on there. So if anyone's keen and listens,
it's a good platform to physically ask us something on the set.
Yeah.
For us to talk a bit of shit. Sometimes we have some technical difficulties.
I think we're over all those technical difficulties now.
We can't produce those.
No.
So, but I do want to, as we put a bow on this episode, I do want to say Merry Christmas to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for all of the comments. This was something that BJ and we didn't really know how it was going to go over. And we've been overwhelmed with the support. We do want people to keep giving us topic ideas.
Yeah.
Don't stop doing that.
No, feed us up.
Because eventually we will run out of shit to say.
Exactly. It
could take a minute for me to run out, but
we just clocked over 4,000 downloads on the listening platforms, which is pretty cool. So that means that we've probably got about 2,000 views on our YouTube.
Yeah, probably more than that.
Yeah, probably more than that. Oh, yeah, actually, way more than that.
It's probably close to what we get.
Yeah.
Or maybe even more, pal, to be honest.
So we love it. Thank you so much, everyone. And hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas and Santa is oh so good to you.
Also, BJ and I are looking for new artwork for our Skull Sessions, like our cover art.
Yeah.
We are not graphic designers. If anyone out there has something cool for us to use, at the moment we're rocking like a green and gold with a skull. We're not attached to green and gold. We are two Aussie blokes, but we really don't give a crap about that.
Yeah,
in terms of flaunting it,
we
want to see some mad skulls.
Two of them, preferably, because there's only one skull. It has no mustache and it has no beard, so it's a little bit sad.
If it wasn't so hot, we could do like a little cuddle skull.
It is,
and then someone could mess with that.
Yeah, maybe
it's a bit hot. I don't want to mess with that.
Maybe we'll jump in the pool and do it in the pool.
I'm sure my kids would love that.
Keep them inside.
If anyone has any, awesome artwork for us,
we'd love it.
Send it over, or post it and tag us.
Yeah, for sure.
That could be more fun.
Yeah.
But for now, want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thank you.
Thank you.
Night night.
Oh, I lost.
Is this going to be in the shorts?
Yeah, it might be. What'd you get?
What do you call a group of sheep rolling down a hill? Oh, that's classic. I'm reading.
I have no idea.
A landslide.